Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Soo, your Oakland community advocate. Well, it's been nearly 2 weeks. It's 13 days since the election, and it's November 21st, Monday. And as of Friday, CM Thao has taken the lead for the next Oakland mayor. And so today we should be getting another confirmation on hopefully the last set of ballots that were counted and verified. And so we're expecting an election outcome today, hopefully, today being Monday. And it could be CM Thao, that is our new Oakland mayor, or it could be Lauren Taylor. Either way that it ends up being, Oakland has a lot of issues that whoever the new mayor is going to have a lot on their plate to deal with. Number one, we have rampant inflation and recession going on, so a lot of businesses are closing up, and so that's going to affect the tax dollars here in Oakland also. A lot of crime that we're dealing with, a lot of illegal dumping. We have homelessness. Affordable housing is a huge issue right now, but with the prices coming down and also what's happening, we've seen, because I remember this back in the late 70s, friends would move in together in a common living situation. And that's what made the show Friends very popular in the 80s. And again, we've seen several different versions of that play out, like Seinfeld, and then other shows very similar. So anyway, moving in together as a congregate group has been working out very well for a lot of folks, and in fact it is also being used as a model currently here in Oakland on a program that I've been monitoring for a couple of years now, and it's worked out pretty good, and very few complications, and very little in the way of stress, but it makes the housing affordable for everybody when we go back to this particular type of living arrangements. But then one of the things that have to be taken into consideration is that everybody has to be very good friends on this and to be successful. In my early days, I explored the possibility of doing something like that with a group of friends. I had just turned 18 and considering moving out on my own, but then the cost of apartments, which were significantly less back then, but still expensive. And then also I'm starting out in the work world, so my finances weren't very stable, so I held on. And a lot of folks are doing that. So a lot of you that have children still at home are experiencing kids staying in the home much longer than in the past, where a lot of times when we turned 18, we got the heck out of Dodge on that. But now not so much, because price of housing is still unaffordable for a majority. And we have that crisis here in Oakland. And so the new mayor, whoever that may be, will have to concentrate on finding a way to make housing affordable. And yet Oakland has 16,000 empty units in Oakland, and they're not filling those. We have to find a way to fill those vacancies before we consider building more housing. And that may be necessary to perhaps look at an eminent domain. We have to look at possibilities of those developers filing for bankruptcy, which many are, right now, or in the process of doing. And then Oakland has to find a way to purchase those units and recreate the Oakland Housing Authority, rather than farming out everything, which is what they've done in the recent past. And we see that all that money is being wasted, literally, and not bringing desired results with that money. And so we have to change that. And if the next mayor does not change that particular situation, we cannot continue down this road that we know doesn't work, which is third-party interventions. And these third-party interventions with housing and everything do not work. And so we have to recreate the Oakland Housing Authority, take control of properties, and provide affordable housing here in Oakland. Right now, we're looking at the economy shift in dramatic ways. In fact, I remember this exact same shift, and I was one of those that made the bad decision of purchasing a home at the peak of the market. And in 2 years, I was filing for bankruptcy because I had already come to the realization that, number one, I paid too much for the property. Number two, because I was financing, and it was a specific type of loan. It was called a balloon payment back then. And so you got into the loan and you got into the home for a 5-year period. And at the end of that 5-year period, it was hoped that the purchaser, which in that case would have been me, would be able to refi the home. But because I paid too much, in fact, the home was only worth, according to Alameda County records, was only worth about $97,000 to $99,000 at the time. But unfortunately, because crooked realtors, crooked advisors who were only padding their own pockets, because I was one of the very few people that were buying, gave me bad information, and I overpaid by 1/3. So I was stuck with a loan for $149,000 on a home that was only worth $97,000, and with their influence, we'll say, and they were convincing me that by the time 5 years had passed, I would be able to refinance at the $150,000 price level, which shortly after I signed the paper, everything changed, and it put me on a really bad destination at that time. So we're in that same situation. Don't buy a home right now. If you're in a purchase right now, unless you got a lot of money that you can lose, because let me tell you, the first person who bought my Grand Lake home, and that home was being sold at the peak at that time in 2007, and the collapse happened in 2008. And the family that bought the home from me, I feel really bad for, because they put down a huge down payment, $250,000 in cash. $250,000 in cash for the down payment so that they could afford the loan on the home that I was in. And we sold it for $845,000. They put $250,000 down, and then within 1 year, that family lost all $250,000 of equity that they had in the home, because the home's value had dropped significantly. And then also the family was trying to relocate because of the husband's work. The husband's work, unfortunately, called him back to the East Coast, and he no longer had a West Coast office. And the home would have been his office And so that put him and the family in a very bad situation. And then 2008 hit, and prices of home just slid off the cliff, and they literally lost all their equity, $250,000, and just was able to pay off the loan to get out of that loan. And unfortunately, a lot of folks right now aren't going to be able to get out of a loan because people simply don't have the money, and you can't get a loan right now. And so our new mayor is going to have a lot of challenges, and I hope to be a part of some of those solutions, especially when it comes to homelessness. I have a plan that I'm going to be working on my private side, which I hope to also make available to the city of Oakland, to the new administration, if they agree to certain conditions. And the conditions aren't going to be very difficult. It's just going to be the same conditions that I have in my PATH program, but we're going to take away the anonymity that the city requires, because part of my program is that you participate with great transparency. And so it's just like any other HOA, that homeowner association that would be operating. So it operates in the very same similar CC&R's code of conduct and rules. And people are transparent in what happens. It's not shrouded in secrecy like third parties do. And what a lot of the problems of California, and the reason why they have a continued homeless problem, is because they don't make things transparent. And most of these city administrators are passing the buck off to third party agencies to resolve the problems. And in fact, what that does, it enhances the problems. And so I want to remove that, because we've proven over the last 8 to 12 years that that model does not work. And so we have to look at something else. We cannot continue going down this road that we're going down expecting a different outcome, because it's not going to happen, period. Thanks for joining me today. We'll be right back.